So there are a number of tough questions in the language arts section of the SAT, and one of these types of questions are the graphs and charts questions. So these questions can be tough because they are rather lengthy, where they have a long text and a chart to go along with it, where you have to analyze this chart to find the correct answer choice. And these answer choices are usually 1 to 2 sentences long. So all this length can make these questions consume a lot of time, making it rather hard. And these questions can be confusing at times because sometimes these texts and these answer choices can have odd wording or confusing wording that can make it confusing. And usually there's 2 to 3 questions on each section section that are like these. But this can vary from like 1 to 4 too. So let's go through how to solve one of these questions. So here's one of those questions from before, and let's solve it, show how hard it actually is. So the question says, which choice best describes data from the table that supports the researcher's claim? So we'll be reading this text to find the researcher's claim, and then use the information in the table to find the correct answer choice that supports this claim. So the text says, a group of researchers working in Europe, Asia, and Oceania conducted a study to determine how quickly different Eurasian languages are typically spoken, in syllables per second, and how much information they can effectively convey, in bits per second. They found that although languages vary widely in speed at which they are spoken, the amount of information they can effectively convey tends to be much less. Very much less. Thus, they claim that two languages with very different spoken rates can nonetheless convey the same amount of information in a given amount of time. So the claim here is that two different languages with different spoken rates can convey the same amount of information in a given amount of time. So now let's look at the answer choices to see which choice supports this claim. So one of the key notes here is that these answer choices usually include, or these one of two of these answer choices usually have incorrect information, where they don't draw the information correctly from the chart. So option A says, among the 5 languages in the table, Thai and Hungarian have the lowest rates of speech, and the lowest rates of information conveyed. So let's see if this is true. So Thai, which is spoken at 4.7, and Hungarian at 5.9. But here it shows that Vietnamese is spoken at 5.3, so Thai and Hungarian aren't spoken at the lowest. Thai and Vietnamese are. So A is incorrect simply because it does not use the correct information from the table. B. Vietnamese conveys information at approximately the same rate as Spanish, despite being spoken at a slower rate. So this seems to be correct because it does support the claim, which is that two languages with very different spoken rates can convey the same amount of information. And here it shows that Vietnamese is spoken at 5.3, Spanish at 7.7, so they have different rates of speech. But the information they convey is rather close, because Spanish is at 42 and Vietnamese at 42.5. So B seems to be the correct answer. C. Among the 5 languages in the table, the language that is spoken the fastest is also the language that conveys information the fastest. So let's check if this is true. So the language that is spoken the fastest is Vietnamese at 42.5, but it's spoken at 5.3. So this is incorrect because Spanish is spoken at the fastest, but does not convey information the most or the fastest. So C is incorrect because, like A, it doesn't use correct information from the table. D. Serbian and Spanish are spoken at approximately the same rate, but Serbian conveys information faster than Spanish does. So let's check if this is true. So Serbian and Spanish are spoken at approximately the same rate. So this is true, 7.2, 7.7, but Serbian conveys information faster than Spanish does. But this is incorrect because Spanish conveys at 42 and Serbian at 39.1. So Spanish is faster than Serbian. So D is incorrect, and thus the correct answer is B. So overall, these questions can be confusing because they're rather long and they have a lot of information in them, but if you take it slowly and properly analyze each answer choice to see whether it's correct or not, then they aren't that hard.